Louis Malle's third film The Lovers, starring Jane Mogo, broke taboos against on-screen eroticism. In 1968, the US Supreme Court reversed the obscenity conviction of an Ohio theater that had exhibited The Lovers. Viaggio Celebrity presents all 33 Louis Malle films. Number 33. Crackers, 1984. Gabe is a San Francisco pawn shop operator. His unemployed and criminal friends Dillard, Turtle and Westlake team up with Boardwalk, a local pimp, to burgle Gabe's shop while the owner is out of town. During the elaborate planning process, Dillard falls for a Hispanic woman, the sister of a friend. Also, Boardwalk is assigned to case a local apartment where he meets and falls for the maid. Amidst all these romantic hijinks, Westlake puts together a burglary plan which is executed by the makeshift gang. This movie was the first remake of Mario Monicelli's Big Deal on Madonna Street. The second would be Welcome to Collinwood. Both American movies. That remake was set in Cleveland, Ohio, whereas this remake was set in San Francisco, California. The two remakes were made around 18 years apart. Number 32. Place de la République, 1974. Vibrant scenes of individuals' daily life are filmed in Place de la République. Filmed throughout the fall of 1972. Originally, Malle intended to film in several different locations around Paris with professional actors. This plan was scrapped and he filmed ordinary people in the titular location in central Paris in lieu of actors and the 40 various sets that were planned. Number 31. Close Up, 1976. Number 30. Craziology, 1954. Three men argue as to the whereabouts of their sister. Made in 1954 at the French National Film School by a student director named Louis Malle. Craziology is scarcely seen and commented upon. That's even though the director had quite a future ahead of him, elevated to the Gallows, Murmur of the Heart, and Au Revoir les Enfants. Malle works the music of jazz musician Charlie Parker into Craziology, something he would do again in his masterpiece Murmur of the Heart. Number 29. Dominic Sand Au Le Rêve Evil, 1977. Number 28. God's Country, 1985. Original footage of the prosperous farming community of Glencoe, Minnesota, 60 miles west of Minneapolis, was filmed in 1979 for a PBS documentary. But for the next 6 years, Malle was too busy with other projects to finish this work. He returned in 1985 for a follow-up and found the community reacting to the mid-80s crisis of overproduction in farm country. With weekly foreclosure on family farms and many families moving to the south, Malle documented a sense of frustration and apprehension from the same participants he had befriended in better times half a decade earlier. Number 27. The Silent World, 1956. This pioneering French nature documentary follows renowned explorer Jacques-Yves Cousteau as he investigates aquatic habitats in various locations around the world, featuring whales, sharks, and many other varieties of marine life. The film doesn't shy away from the brutality present in the natural world, but it also paints a fascinating picture of underwater exploration as Cousteau and his associates strive to reach previously unseen ocean depths. Number 26. The Thief of Paris, 1967. In the opening scene, George Randall, the thief of the title, breaks into a big house and begins to steal the valuable object on display. A series of flashbacks then narrate the story of Randall's life. And often he is raised by his uncle along with his cousin Charlotte, who grows into an attractive young woman with whom he falls in love. When George reaches 21 and asks for the money his parents left him, he finds that his unscrupulous uncle has stolen it all. He is rejected as a suitor for Charlotte because he is poor. She is then betrothed by her social climbing father to a dim-witted aristocrat. George steals the fiancée's family jewels and from then on, motivated by a sense of justice and desire for revenge, follows a successful career as a gentleman thief targeting the haute bourgeoisie. Number 25. Bones by Sir de Bangkok, 1964. Number 24. Uma Trop Uma, 1974. A documentary with almost no words following the production of Cité on cars at a plant in northern France and their later sales. The cinematography is fantastic. Malle focuses on small things like how the feet move while people walk, or how a girl moves her eye. Even though the film shows us how much work goes into making a car, I would not say that was the point of the film. The film is much more about humanity, the human face and the human touch behind the cars people buy. We seldom think about the many hands that slave putting our car together, the community and lives we are connected to when we step into a car. Number 23. Station 307, 1954. Station 307 is a British Petroleum Company sponsor film feature Jack Cousteau in the Persian Gulf helping with the search for oil. Number 22. In the Pursuit of Happiness, 1986. After acknowledging his own immigrant background, Malle tries to present the range of immigrant experiences in the US during the 1980s. In an attempt to be comprehensive, the film includes interviews with migrant workers and illegal entrants along the Mexican border, conversation with an enterprising Indian motel owner, coverage of industrious African and Asian families in the cities, an extensive interview with the first Costa Rican astronaut visit with Cuban exiles in Miami, several conversations with West Indian poet Derek Walcott, an extended portrait of the deposed Nicaraguan General Somoza and his extended family. The film finishes with a brief visit to the Russian Jewish community in Brooklyn, New York to tie in with the centenary of the Statue of Liberty. Number 21. Spirit of the Dead, 1968. Metzengerstein, the bow and corrupt medieval Countess Frederica spent her futile life in orgies and cruelties. When she moved with her friend to one of her castles nearby the land of her poor cousin Baron Wilhelm, she desires him but is not corresponded. When one of her minions burns the stable, Wilhelm dies trying to rescue his stallion and Frederica is haunted by her lost cousin. William Wilson, the sadistic and cruel soldier of the Austrian army, William Wilson confesses to a priest the cruelties he committed along his sinful life, and the participation of his double, also called William Wilson, in specific moments of his dreadful life. Toby Dammit, the cynical, alcoholic and decadent English actor Toby Dammit traveled to Rome to make a Catholic Western but only interested in receiving the Ferrari promised by the production. Number 20. Calcutta, 1969. With minimal narration by the director and very little context, this is a kaleidoscope of stunning visuals from Calcutta, a city of 8 million in the late 1960s, rich and poor, exotic and mundane, secular and religious, children and adults, animate and inanimate. Given only the images, the viewer can read any meaning she or he wants into the film. Number 19. Vive le Tour, 1962. If you are a fan of cycling and fascinated with bicycle race history, this is a must-see short film. Shown in the film are a number of the all-time great racers, such as Jack Anquetil. But this film does not focus on heroes by any means. Most of the footage shows the and seldom considered and rarely seen moments which made this famous race such a unique part of French culture. Number 18. A Very Private Affair, 1962. Brigitte Bardot, the French actress of the 1960s, starred in this semi-biographical film of her life. 18-year-old Jill enjoys a comfortable upper-class existence with her widowed mother in Switzerland and develops a crush on Fabio, a friend's husband. She heads off to Paris to become a model and dancer. Soon, Jill is discovered by a film producer and made into a huge movie star. The pressure and annoyances of fame take their toll on her, and she returns to Switzerland to recuperate. Number 17. Alamo Bay, 1985. A despondent Vietnam veteran in danger of losing his livelihood is pushed to the edge when he sees Vietnamese immigrants moving into the fishing industry in a Texas Bay town. As outlined by show business trade paper Variety, the movie is based on the conflict between refugee Vietnamese and local fisherfolk around Galveston Bay, Texas. Number 16. Phantom India, 1969. Phantom India Reflection on a Journey is an epic 7-part cine essay-log in which we are shown the people, places, practices, custom, gods, celebration, festival, rituals, cultures, mythology, tradition, caste, religions, gurus, minorities, food, art, economics, politics, and various ways of life found throughout India, as seen through the camera lens of Louis Malle. Number 15. May Fools, 1990. During the events of May 1968 in France, different worldviews of conflicting relatives are collide in their family estate. Like Vanya in Malle's last film, Milou never left the family estate. His mother dies during the May 1968 student uprising in Paris. The brother, who is the London correspondent for Le Monde, keeps turning up the volume of the radio for the latest news. Number 14. Viva Maria, 1965. The former Irish terrorist Maria II joins the vaudeville act of the French singer Maria I in Central America in 1907. During their first performance on stage, they invent by accident the striptease and become local stars. When they come across a local rebellion, Maria I falls in love with the leader Flores. When he is mortally wounded, she promises him to continue the revolution against the military, the capitalist, and the church. Number 13. Damage, 1992. A member of parliament falls passionately in love with his son's fiancée. They pursue their affair with obsessive abandon despite the dangers of discovery and what it would do to his complacent life and his son. Completely obsessed, he wants to give up his current lifestyle to be with her. She has no intention of allowing him to do this, preferring to have her marriage to the son as a cover. Number 12. The Lovers, 1958. The bored and empty upper-class Jane Turnier lives in a manor with many servants in the countryside of Dijon, with her husband Henry Turnier and their daughter Catherine. Henry is the editor of the Burgundy Monitor and has been married to Jean for 8 years. But he does pay attention to his wife. Jean travels frequently to the house of her childhood friend Maggie in Paris to meet her lover, the famous polo player Raoul Floss. Number 11. Lacombe, Lucien, 1974. A small town in the southwest of France, summer of 1944. Having failed to join the resistance, the 18-year-old Lucien Lacombe, whose father is a prisoner in Germany and whose mother dates her employer, works for the German police. He then meets France Horn, the daughter of a rich Jewish tailor. Number 10. Pretty Baby 1978. In 1917, in the red light district Storyville, New Orleans, the prostitute Hattie lives with her 12-year-old daughter Violet in the fancy brothel of Madame Nell, where she works. Photographer Ernst has an attraction to Hallie and Violet, and he is an habitué of the whole house. One day, Madame Nell auctions Violet's virginity, and the winner pays the fortune of $400 to spend the night with the girl. Number 9. Black Moon 1975. In a dystopian future, a mid-teen named Lily is trying to escape the bloodshed associated with the war between the sexes. She barely getting away from a group of men that have just assassinated a group of women. Lily is able to take fantasy refuge on a farmhouse property, which is inhabited by, among others, an old bedridden woman who speaks largely in some foreign tongue, speaks to others over wireless radio, has a rat named Humphrey as a friend, and receives her nourishment in an unconventional manner for a person her age. Number 8. Vanya on 42nd Street, 1994. In New York, the cast of Anton Chekhov's Uncle Vanya rehearsed the play in a dilapidated theater on the 42nd Street. The arrogant and selfish professor Serebryakov is an elderly intellectual married with his gorgeous and younger second wife Yelena, that feels trapped in a prison with her marriage. Number 7. Zazie danced Le Métro, 1960. With her mother away for the weekend, the opinionated, brash and precocious 10-year-old country girl, Zazie, is entrusted to her artistic Parisian uncle Gabriel. More than anything in the world, Zazie wants to ride the busy metro. However, today of all days, the subway is shut down by a strike. Number 6. The Fire Within, 1963. Life has become unbearably painful for Alamo, who is in his early 30s. He once used alcohol to dull the pain. His estranged wife in New York has paid for a cure at a clinic in Versailles and sends an emissary, one of the many women he has known, to see how Alamo is. She sees only the surface, as does his doctor, who say it's time for Alamo to leave the clinic. Number 5. Mama of the Heart, 1971. This is a jolly coming-of-age story about a 14-year-old boy named Louis Chevalier who is growing up in bourgeois surrounding in Dijon, France. This is France in the mid-1950s rather than America in the 1990s. Thus, Louis is unharmed by events which would irreparably shatter the self-esteem of a modern American adolescent. He gets drunk, he smokes, he has sex, he is murdered by his mother. He is ignored by his father, a priest makes a pass at him, he gets rheumatoid fever, etc. Number 4. Atlantic City 1980. Dreams. Becoming an Atlantic City croupier will help Sally realize her dream of going to Monte Carlo, a symbol of the glamorous life that has been awaiting her since escaping from Saskatchewan a decade ago. Lou dreams that he was a great mobster in the old days. Grace came to Atlantic City for a Betty Grable look-alike contest and stayed to become the wife of a mobster. Number 3. My Dinner with Andrew, 1981. Two old friends meet for dinner. As one tells anecdotes detailing his experiences, the other notices their differing worldviews. Wallace Shawn and Andrew Gregory, apparently playing themselves, share their lives over the course of an evening meal at a restaurant. Number 2. Au revoir les enfants, 1987. In 1944, upper-class boy Julian Quentin and his brother Francois traveled to Catholic boarding school in the countryside after vacations. Julian is a leader and good student, and when the new student Jean Bonnet arrives in the school, they have friction in their relationship. However, Julian learns to respect Jean and discovers that he is Jewish and the priests are hiding him from the Nazis. They become best friends and Julian keeps the secret. Number 1. Elevator to the Gallows, 1958. Julian Tavernier works in the offices of a powerful arms dealer and is having an affair with his boss wife Florence. The pair plan to murder her husband and make it appear to have been suicide. Unfortunately, their neat plan doesn't turn out so, with one problem after another befalling them, ultimately proving the old adage, everyone ultimately gets their just deserts.